The Chicago Cubs get flat out beat, destroyed by a division rival and the one that seems like they kind of might be an ownership stake of the Chicago Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers. And of course, another round of rumors. We got to talk about it and all that after this. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe so that you never miss any of the action, any of the commentary that we have going on right here on Chicago Cubs Central. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Now, with that being said, the Chicago Cubs do go ahead and drop another game. This has just been a woeful May right now for the Chicago Cubs as they just cannot get past themselves. And really, it's just all falling apart right now. But the cool part is that it's happening early and there's time to course correct, which we will talk about versions of what course correct could look like later on in this episode. But the Chicago Cubs do drop another game to the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't like to. I'm trying to veer away from in my episodes talking more about the game. I do the instant reaction shorts so you guys can get my instant reaction. Then that's more fan Mike Jones. You're going to get more reporting Mike Jones when it comes to doing the actual full shows. From a fan point of view, just for a second, let me put my fan cap on and just tell you guys, Chicago Cubs got to fight harder. They have to fight harder on offense. I feel like they are going about the business of baseball and not really fighting to try to get back into games. Guys are just up there ho-hum swinging. Some aren't swinging at all. And Craig Counsell needs to let this be known by benching some guys. He is not known for doing stuff like that, but I think it gets the guys' attention when they're not in the starting lineup, when they are not out there, to start the game. And you see like, okay, these guys may need a breather, a day or two. These guys need a break. These guys need, to realize like, hey, like the season isn't over with. Just because we had 2 10-game win streaks does not mean that the season is anywhere near over with. We don't have this wrapped up in the bag. And the fact with that loss to the Brewers, and then you have to turn around and face Jacob Mizrachi on Tuesday. I think that's his name, right? I know it's Mizrachi. I think it's Jacob Mizrachi. Anyways, when you have to face basically the Brewers' best pitcher on Tuesday, the tall, lanky, gazelle-looking mug that looks like he can't walk on ice. You got to face him on Tuesday, so that just makes your life even harder. But again, this is baseball, and this is the highs and the lows of baseball, guys. This is what happens. I mean, you can't get too high on the team just because they have two 10-game win streaks, and you can't get too low on the team just because they haven't been able to string some more wins together. The Cubs will even out, and they will figure out what to do. I do still believe the Chicago Cubs will be in the postseason. I mean, like I said, I just do believe that. They are literally tied with the Dodgers right now and like 2 games back for having the best record in all of MLB. But it just feels like they're like below 500 when you go out and you watch these deflating losses that they have had. Guys, the Chicago Cubs are still a good baseball team. Despite all of this, they're still a good baseball team. And there's a lot of baseball still left to be played. Now, not every game is going to be sunshine and rainbows. We're going to have some clunkers. We're going to have some stinkers in there. It just is how baseball goes. The Dodgers get blown out every now and then. The Yankees get blown out. Any big league club can get blown out and beat up on any given day. It does suck when it's against the Milwaukee Brewers. And I expect the Chicago Cubs tomorrow to answer that in kind. But with that being said, we got to get to the to my other thought, which is Craig Counsell needs to switch up his rotations, his batting order. His batting order needs to switch. I think that he needs to put somebody in between, say a Suzuki and Ian Happ, he needs to maybe look at, and I hate to say this, he needs to look at moving somebody like Carson Kelly up in the batting order, pushing somebody else back, either sliding Michael Bush or Michael Conforto, depending on who's hitting between Seiya Suzuki and between Ian Happ. Because with runners in scoring position, those guys just are not getting it done. They are not getting it done. I also have had the thought process, and I tweeted this out during the game. I don't think it would be a bad idea to call up Kevin Alcantara, especially if you believe Mo Bally right now needs to go figure some things out. Well, send him back down to AAA and let him figure some things out and call him back up. It's not a demotion. It's, hey, kid, you're coming back up to the big leagues, but right now the league has kind of figured you out. You need to go back and figure the league out a little bit. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Maybe give Kevin Alcantara a chance, sit Ian Happ for a game or two, or let him play right field and DH Seiya Suzuki. But give him a chance. Dude's been swinging a hot bat in AAA, and it doesn't hurt you any right now to give him a shot in the majors. Even though I know Craig Counsell probably might not be necessarily fond of him, but those are my thoughts on that. We got to make some changes. Like I said, you can't keep sticking that same batting order out there, because with runners in scoring position right now, the Chicago Cubs are plumb dilly dumb awful. We got to get that together. Now, with that being said, trade rumors. They're going to keep coming. Obviously, like I said, writers and pundits are going to have a lot to say about the Chicago Cubs and the potential trade rumors and the potential trades that the Chicago Cubs can make. And there are a lot of trades the Chicago Cubs can make. Make no mistake about it. The Cubs have some very good prospects in AAA that they could absolutely trade and get a haul for. Jefferson Rojas being one of them, Kevin Alcantara being another one, Jonathan Long being another one. Like I said, you got James Triantos also. So the Chicago Cubs do have a plethora of top prospects that, teams that have really, really good players, but just have really, really bad records could be eyeing and looking at and hoping that Chicago Cubs pick up the phone and call them and make a deal for. Now, when that deal gets made, we'll see. Remember, the trade deadline is pushed back this year. The trade deadline is on my birthday, August 3rd of this year. I plan on being at Wrigley that day. But we look at the offers and opportunities, and again, anything could change. But the Boston Red Sox have started off dreadful this season. They are absolutely crap. Not fun to watch. And the Boston Red Sox actually traded with the St. Louis Cardinals for none other than Sonny Gray. Now, Sonny Gray is somebody that Sports Illustrated pointed out that the Chicago Cubs should absolutely be looking to make a deal for. Sonny Gray is somebody that is very familiar with the Central Division. He is a frontline starter. He is somebody that could absolutely bring consistency, bring command, and the ability to steady a staff through a playoff race. The Cubs will have to give up 3 players, maybe a right-hand pitcher, Brandon Birdsell, the number 16 prospect, Kevin Alcantara, the outfielder, and number 5 prospect and utility guy, James Triantos, the number 9 prospect, to potentially make this deal for Sonny Gray. So tell me what you guys think. Do you guys think that this deal is something that's worth it? Trading James Triantos, Brandon Birdsell, and Kevin Alcantara for Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray is in the last season of his 3-year, $75 million contract. He's an aging starter, but he's still shown the strong ability to have a strong presence in the rotation. And like I said, the Cubs do need a dominant right-handed starter. His strikeout numbers are down, but Gray holds a 3.18 ERA for the Red Sox this season, and he is a 3-time MLB All-Star. So again, this is somebody that they're looking at and saying that, hey, the Cubs should absolutely look at this trade as a veteran starter that can come in and give you good big league outs. Again, this trade proposal is absolutely something I think that the Red Sox would accept, But we also know Jed Hoyer. He's a little bit too sly, a little bit too cunning, I think, to make this offer to them. The Cubs aren't that desperate. Like I said, even if they were, I don't know that Sonny Gray is the guy you make that deal for. I think they would likely make this deal more so for a Sandy Alcantara that you have multiple years of control over versus making this deal for Sonny Gray, who you're going to lose at the end of the season anyways. So I don't know that this is a deal that I would actually do. Chicago Cubs, again, guys, even with the series loss to the Chicago White Sox, even with, dropping the game to the Brewers on Monday, Tuesday comes, Wednesday comes, the Chicago Cubs are going to get back on track, guys. They're not going to let the season completely plummet. They're just not. I mean, it's going to be okay. I want to hug all my Cub fans out there and just tell you guys, it's going to be okay. The Cubs are going to rebound from this. It just sucks while you're going through it and you got to watch them, especially lose to the Brewers. But nonetheless, the Chicago Cubs got to get it together. And I believe they will. And I think Craig Counsell will answer in response. Again, runners in scoring position, you got to get better at that. Changing the batting order will help with that. And then also, like I said, I do think the Cubs will add on starters, and the Cubs will probably add on, bullpen pieces too before it's all said and done. So, again, with all the trade chatter going on, you expect the Chicago Cubs sooner rather than later to make a deal. But then again, Craig Counsell and Jed Hoyer beat to the sound of their own drum, and they'll make a deal when they're good and damn ready. So we'll see what happens. But, of course, everything is going to be right here on Chicago Cubs Central anytime a deal is made, anytime breaking news happens, anytime anything goes on with our Chicago Cubs. They will see Jacob Misiorowski on Tuesday for a game. And like I said, I am excited to watch it. Hopefully the Chicago Cubs can get that 30th win that has plagued us. We have been missing that 30th win for the longest. So like I said, I'm excited to see what the Chicago Cubs do. Jacob Misiorowski is 3-2 with a 2.12 ERA. Meanwhile, we're sending Ben Brown, who has done very well against the Brewers, up against the Brewers. He is 1-1 with a 1.60 ERA. Going to try to stretch Ben out even more probably in this game, especially if he's able to get it done. So let's see what we get, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Again, it's a long season, y'all. Don't give up hope on the Cubs yet. Don't give up hope yet. They haven't given us a reason to give up yet. Until next time, go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.